Today we are going to talk all about winter preparedness for your bikes. I'm Marcus, I'm a rider captain for a year now in foodora Oslo, and my colleague Sveinung and my colleague Paul will talk today about the winter preparedness in general. First my colleague Paul will talk about clothing, then my colleague Sveinung will take over and talk about maintenance of bikes and equipment, and in the end I'm going to talk a little bit about safety and other small things. Yeah, I mean, if there's any country in the world who knows how to be prepared in winter, it's probably Norway, and Norwegians sure know how to make the most out of it and have fun. So I'm thinking this will be interesting. Well, I'm giving it over to my colleague Paul now, who is talking about clothing now.
Down there we have our city, Oslo. Right now it's still not really winter, but we are changing the colors of the trees now. It looks better this way and it means winter is coming. So it's not really a time to walk around half nude. I can feel it. This summer is over and we're all looking forward to the winter. We love snow, and I guess that's why we're supposed to make this video for you guys further south in Europe. And snow is fun, ice is dangerous, but you can deal with it. And I'm gonna say a few things about clothing. Without the right kind of clothing, winter is really, really not fun. Ah, this was a lot better. Now I got wool, nice merino wool. It doesn't itch at all, it's great, and a lot more cozy and comfy than just walking around in the nude when temperature drops. That's the thing. Close to your body, choose wool when it's cold. Wool has that magnificent feature that it stays warm even if it's moist. It's natural super material. So I now look like the Dark Knight or something. On top of this, I have my normal winter long trousers. Did you ever try to film yourself with your mobile camera while showing how to dress? It's not really easy, and I don't have a tripod mount on this, but let's go for a fleece. Okay, this is a very cold day. We're talking about cold days now, cold days. I'll get a fleece on, just hang on. This is hot. And just to make it surely look like I work for foodora, I need my jacket. But the point of the jacket isn't to be warm. Please, don't choose a warm jacket. It's just a shell. You want a shell jacket that you can ventilate. And that is the main problem when I ride in the winter. I get too hot. You know, we are fighting hills you can see that, right? This is a hilly town. We have the fjord down there. We have hills everywhere. We go up and we go down, and we need to be able to ventilate. Before you get too hot, open up. That's what this zipper is for. Use your zippers. Try to get a jacket even with openings under your arms or something, and use them. You can use this part to adjust because you cool down here, but take very good care of your joints. Don't expose your joints. Your knees, be most careful. Knees, joints, they don't like the cold at all. You will regret in 20 years time when you get as old as I am. Yeah, here they are. I mean, I don't know how popular this is, but it's up to you. Not just because I'm an old man. It's good to keep your knees warm. Then the shoes. My summer shoes is like an ordinary bicycle shoe, and yes, I do use these bike shoes all year long. Even in winter, you get the hang of it. Click it off. If you're not comfortable with it, use normal shoes. Sure, but the thing is, for winter, I have another pair. Somewhat more waterproof. Tougher. Yeah, sure. I still use the click pedals, SPD. But then when these shoes, in really bad days, or normal shoes, in less really bad days, you have these covers. Rain cover. This is a normal rain cover to go on top of your shoe. I haven't even used these yet. ready for the winter, maybe more the autumn, or you can get it in neoprene. The problem with these is that they wear out when you run around. So try to get some shoe covers with really good quality soles, because you go off the bicycle a lot. So if you need this, just take care of the soles. They will wear out first. That's two solutions. You have normal shoes with a rain cover or a neoprene cover, or you can have the more tough winter boots. Often the sole is the cold place, so get space enough to have a insulating sole, because if you use the click pedals, the SPD thing or something similar, then the cold comes up from below through that hard plastic sole. I was talking about the trousers, and get rain trousers with zippers on the side. I'll show you those zipper on the side trousers. To be easy to put on and off, it's always nice to have the zipper in the bottom, so you can get your shoes on and off easily. No, your trousers, I mean, without removing the shoes. That's obvious. And they are strengthened on the inside, so it's good for tear and wear against the bicycle. And then this zipper on the side, if I can just get hold of it, it makes me able to open the trousers on the side, and you can see how my trousers are just flapping. We are biking fast, so the rain comes from the front and is protected. The splashing is fine taken care of down here, but the air, the ventilation is happening on the side. Unless it's even colder and everything just freeze. That's the best. The dry, cold winter when it's not wet anymore. Well, what about your neck? This is, of course, possible to zip up like this, but again, you get awfully hot, and it's kind of difficult to adjust further down when you have strapped yourself up here. So you need some kind of a buff. A buff is great. I got this buff with reflectors on the side. Look how nice it is. I mean, it can be around your neck, it can be over your head, it can be in front of your face as a face mask. I know somebody prefers to go with face masks all winter. If you want, please do that. It covers your face, you look like some kind of a superhero. And this, I just found out I can adjust this so the reflectors get on the side. Isn't that cute? Huh? I got, so I won't be hit by a car from the side. That's the trick. Good, I can ventilate by just lifting it up. You can do lots of things with this. It's good, it's practical, it's handy. Pooh, it's getting too hot now. Naturally a helmet comes on top of. Alright, I got the helmet now. I just put it on top of everything. My sweet foodora helmet. You know, this color, okay. Gloves, come on, gloves. They might be sort of difficult to use when operating a phone, or vice versa. Hard to operate a phone when using gloves. And I just got hold of these. You see that little sign? It means you can actually use your smartphone. I can do this. I can start and stop the video now if I want, using my glove. This is neoprene, kind of. It's good. It's good for these temperatures. If it gets colder, well, you'll have to find a solution. I have this claw gloves, also great, but then I can't use the phone. So this winter what I'm gonna do is to have muffs on the handles on the bike. So when you go, it's like kayaking. You kayak, you have muffs on your pedal. That's what I use kayaking. So I stick my hand into the muff with the glove on and ride the bike. Well, then the last thing, as my bike needs to get dressed for the winter too, and I'm sure my friends filling out this, doing the rest of this video, I'm going to show you something about bicycles. Look at these tires, huh? These are tires for winter. We want spikes on our bikes when it's winter, when it's icy, and when I go to work from here, I have 5, 6, 7 kilometers downhill before I get to the office, and I would never get back from work if I didn't have those spikes on. Up the hills, no problem. And do I need to ventilate? So, what's the conclusion? Apart from me over heating myself right now. Dress in layers. You do not want a hot outer jacket. It's the last thing you want in the winter. You want a shell jacket, ventilated, so you can adjust your temperature. If you go to work in the morning, it's bitterly cold, but it warms up during the day. You just take off a layer. That's the thing. You just get rid of the fleece, if that's what you have in between. And you will always be happy with the wool closest to your skin. It's soft, it's beautiful, it's great. I love wool. Never do anything. I walk in wool all year, actually. You have it thin and you have it thick. So then you will have a happy winter. And if you don't get any snow and you don't get any ice, and you're really disappointed about not using your winter gear, come to Oslo. I think we have a job for you. That's what you need to have a very, very good winter. I assure you. With that pile, you're gonna feel safe, you're gonna be warm, and you're most probably gonna have fun. Winter is not as bad as you might believe. I mean, people tell you it's cold, but it isn't, as long as you learn from old Norwegian tradition. Layers, wool, insulation, shell. That's the trick, and you'll have a wonderful winter. Have a good ride.
Thanks, Paul, for the closing information. I personally agree with very much with the shell jacket and onion principle. That means a lot of layers under a thin jacket, so you stay more flexible. I want to quickly add that I personally prefer to have heavy hiking boots in winter. It's easier to hold and open doors with it when you have your hands full, and just to keep your feet a bit warmer. It may decrease your movement a little, but I personally got used to it. Regarding gloves, the conductive gloves are more expensive than the normal gloves. There's a little hack you can do if you use normal gloves like this, and I also recommend that they have those slip resistant coating, because if you go up and down stairs, it's going to be really annoying if the railing, if you slip with this woolen gloves, it's really annoying. You can. What I want to say, you can actually build a conductive tip in every glove. You just have to buy some very thin, for example, silver wire, and then you sew a little dot in it. And this, if this dot connects to your finger in the inside, it's actually working on a smartphone screen also. Just be sure that you buy the thinnest thread you can get. They're really cheap, but you can get them on many places. And that the diameter of the that the thread is round and not edgy, so it doesn't scratch your smartphone screen. But you can see that and feel that if you try those thread out. If you don't want to buy silver thread, any other metal thread could also work. For example, copper, which you find easily in electromagnets in old electronics, for example, cassette recorders or radios. And you can just take a little bit of this copper thread, a copper wire, and use it for making a little dot in here. This is basically what I would recommend you do for your gloves if you don't have that. Now let's go over to Sveinung, who talks about maintenance and equipment of bike.
Hello, I'm Sveinung from Foodora Oslo. I'm going to talk a little bit about biking equipment and maintenance. Okay, why is biking equipment and maintenance important in the winter cycling? Well, it's both a safety issue and a good equipment will also help you ride faster and more comfortable. So, what do we need? Equipment-wise, number one is safety. And what's important then is to have lights, front and back, and also reflectors, front, back, and on the spokes, pedals, to make your bike visible from all degrees around. With biking lights and reflectors, you will be seen better for the pedestrians and cars, and you will also see better, and that will help you ride faster and find the right street. And also it will help you colliding from polar bears, which we have all around town. So next point is tires. So tires is also important for safety, because the faster you stop, the safer you are, but also the faster you stop, the faster you can go, because you can still be safe. So I got pretty thin tires. Right now they're without spikes. Later on I'm going to install the spiked tires, which is going to give me improved traction on the snow and ice, and will help both my braking and cornering. So what's important to look for in a spiked tire is that it's a lot of spikes, because that's the main feature who helps the traction. This tires is pretty narrow, but that isn't really a concern. With spikes I will still have a lot of traction and we work just fine. So that's lights and tires. Lastly, just a comfort issue is mud guards. I have mud guards just on the back, which prevents splashing on my back, but it also prevents splashing on fellow riders who are behind me. So comfort just both for me and for co-cyclists, and that's a good thing. So lastly, we'll talk a little bit about bike maintenance. That will help your bike function better year round, but it will also be an economical factor, because it will prevent your bike from tearing down, and you don't have to spend any money on expensive parts. So what do? After each ride you wash your bike and get all the salt and mud and grease off it, and then apply new oil, because salt really tears up especially your chain and gears, makes it rust, and there's also mud and gravel, which will be all around your gears, and the more you pedal and the more your chain goes around, the more that will dig into your gears and tear them down. So after you just give your bike overall, the frame, a good wash, you will go straight to the chain. What I usually do before I wash the bike, I actually apply a thin layer of oil on the chain, just to smoothen everything up. So after I wash it and let that kind of sink in, it comes off really easily with a mild soap. So you just take a filthy cloth, take a good hard hand around the chain, and just let it go all around. And as long as you do this often, there won't be a lot of oil in the chain, and this will go fast. And you will also take all the moving parts of the gears, just hold the cloths inside each of these wheels, and they will function and clean really quickly. I'm not going to do all of that now. And in addition to that, you should just take an overall wash of the gears. And then it's clean, you apply a new layer of oil. I just use a standard commercial oil, all around purpose oil, and that works just fine. You can use a more specialized oil for biking and in the winter. That will probably last longer, but it will also be harder to get off every ride. So in my opinion, I go for an easy and light oil, which is easy to get off and it's easy to rinse off. So and both on and off easily. That's the cue. So that's the gears. We also want to wash our brakes. So it's really not a hard thing to do at all. All brakes on bikes consists of two parts. It's a disc of some sort. It's either on the rim or like this. It's a disc brake. And some pedals who press against that plate. And it's important that you keep all mud and gravel off, because it will improve the traction. It will create more friction, and you will stop earlier. And it will also make the pads tear down evenly, so they will last longer. So just give this plate a small rinse with cloth, and also don't use the oil cloth. You take a clean one and just do this on the inside of the pads. And that will make your brakes work all year round and last longer. So, last thing you should be concerned about is the wires, like this one. These are important for the overall function of both gears and brakes, so you should apply some grease on this. Don't use a normal spray oil, get a thicker grease, which you can try to preferably take alongside the whole wire, but for the more daily maintenance you can just press the levers and try to get as much in as possible. That will prolong the time between each more time-consuming maintenance. So that's what I have to say about the bikes. Hope you all ride safe and visit us in Oslo sometime. Back to you, Marcus.
Thanks, Sveinung, for that. I'm going to talk about rider safety now in winter. I have to keep it short because my battery is already dying. It's cold outside today. So most importantly, get tires with a lot of spikes. The thickness of the tire doesn't really matter. It only matters how many spikes you have. And actually thin tires can create more grip because they increase pressure because they have a smaller surface area. So if you have a racing bike and you only can have very thin spike tires, don't worry. The performance is at least as good as with regular tires on ice. Just be careful also with spike tires. I used 3 different models last winter on 2 different bikes, and I feel that if you go over curbs and you have to be especially careful because on my tires the spikes I have started to fall out on 2 different models after a few thousand kilometers. That means they're a bit more sensitive regarding curbs and hard edges, so just be careful. Also be careful with tram tracks and metal on the street because they are very slippery in these cases. Braking. I would recommend braking most of it your back brakes just to test how slippery the road is. If your back wheel is slipping, it is no problem. If your front wheel is slipping, you mostly will go to fall down. So start braking with the back brakes and increase brake pressure if necessary with front brakes. That is something that worked very well for me last winter. So the side of the road is often covered with ice and snow, much more than the main highway. So if you're using bicycle paths and have to ride on the side of the road, just be aware you should take even more distance from the roadside to not drive through that, because it will easily you will easily crash there, and that's really a bad idea when there are cars around, and in general a bad idea. But I would recommend that you keep a very good distance to the side of the road. You're allowed to do that, and cars cannot be angry at you because you do. They also need 1.5 meters. In most countries they need 1.5 meters of security distance if they want to overtake you. And if you think, because you have to drive a bit more in the road because of the conditions, that they cannot overtake you, I really recommend that block the road if necessary. Regarding the conditions, ice is manageable when you have spikes, but if you have an icy road and there's new snow falling on it, especially if it's very cold, it is, in my opinion, the most dangerous situation because it's really like soap. So if you have fresh snow on ice, the conditions are much worse than pure ice or just some snow mesh. So please be very careful then, and drive really slow because there's almost nothing that holds you on the street. In general, I personally love riding in winter. It keeps you fit when most people hang around on the couch. It is a great workout, and I wish you all a great winter, and we see each other next year.